In today's video, we'll be going over 10 LEGO Star Wars set ideas that I feel like LEGO needs to make in the next 5 years. Let's talk about it. So guys, welcome back everyone to another LEGO Star Wars video. In today's video, I wanted to do a quick little discussion video and take a little bit of your time and go over 10 LEGO Star Wars set ideas that I feel like LEGO needs to make. These are going to be sets that I feel like LEGO should have made years ago, possible remakes and possible recolors, and basically just kind of realistic ideas. I'm not going to try to do anything too out of the box. Without further ado, guys, in no particular order, let's get into number 10. So starting off with the first one, we have a $500 to a $700 UCS Republic Venator. I feel like ever since 2019 when they came out with the UCS Imperial Star Destroyer, that was a nice little layup for them to do a very similar set to that. And honestly, I feel like they should. I feel like in the next couple of years, they should have another large scale set out there for a Republic Venator. Basically be the exact same concept, maybe around the same piece count. Of course, the Venator is a different ship where it'll be probably a little bit skinnier, maybe a little bit longer. But I feel like two minifigures for maybe a $500 price point, maybe a little bit less than the the Imperial one, would basically be a pretty nice set. And sure, I mean, I'll be the first one to say I don't think that would sell as much units as, say, the Imperial Star Destroyer, but I feel like you can't really go wrong with it, and there's definitely a big fan base where, kind of bring in a prequel UCS set, definitely a nice display model. I mean, I personally have, the UCS Imperial Star Destroyer built over there, and that thing looks beautiful. Nice. And so to kind of summarize that, I think a $500 UCS Republic Venator with two clone officers, with nice little hats, maybe dual molded legs, printed arms, I think that would be a very nice set for them to make in the next couple of years. There's that one. So next up, we have another very obvious one, probably the most obvious one on this entire list. We have a $100 Jango Fett Slave 1. So I'm putting it at $100 because I think it, a little bit less than the 20th anniversary one, since you're not paying for the 20th anniversary minifigure in there. And also, I really want them to go back to not a $50 Slave 1. I think the $50 Slave 1 a little too small in my opinion. I see where they're going with it, but I think if we were to get a Jango Fett Slave 1 remake and it's in the $50 scale, I think that's going to be very disappointing. So I think $100 Jango Fett Slave 1, 2 to 3 minifigures, of course. I think the two obvious ones, Jango Fett and young Boba Fett. But I think a third minifigure they could throw in there is a new Kaminoan. Use the exact same mold, but just make a different actual character. I believe we got Taun We and the Obi-Wan Starfighter, so maybe we'll get a different one, maybe a Nala Se, or I think there's a Nama Su, I believe. So one of those other two we can actually have in there to kind of, just kind of represent Kamino and use the same mold again with a different character. So there's the second. So next up, we have another one, guys, where I really feel like LEGO should have made that probably 3 years ago. I think it's been 3 solid years now where, we've all been predicting it. LEGO should have made it, but we have an $80 Captain Rex's Y-Wing. So basically, guys, I think 3 minifigures, a new Ahsoka, a new Phase 2 Captain Rex, and the third one's kind of a toss-up. I've kind of gone over the fact I feel like maybe a 332nd clone. I don't think they would do Jesse, though, because I feel like once you make Jesse, they're going to feel obligated to start doing, Echo, Fives, Heavy, Waxer, Boyle, which would be ideal, but I can't really blame LEGO for not wanting to do too many named clones, because I feel like then they're going to kind of put themselves in a rock and a hard spot, where, all of us will expect them to make all the other named clones. But I feel like, 3 minifigures there and pretty much make it almost a color swap of the Anakin's Y-Wing from back in 2009. Of course, a lot more updated. In the last 13 years, there's been a lot more new molds coming out, a lot of new colors. So this is definitely one of those where I feel like if we don't get it next year in 2023, it's going to be very disappointing and a huge miss on LEGO's end. Again, unless we see it a lot in Bad Batch Season 2, maybe Bad Batch Season 3, something, maybe in the Ahsoka series, who knows? Unless we see it in one of those other forms of media, if they have not taken advantage of that in the past couple of years, it really just kind of goes to show that LEGO is trying to avoid at least some prequel-orientated stuff. So there's that one. So next up, we have my personal dream set off this entire list. We have a $350 UCS Geonosis Arena, or also I should say probably just Master Builder series. So this one right here, I feel like at $350 would be a nice little price point, and you can probably get a lot of stuff going there. Of course, I would even pay more if they made it, extra detailed, a lot bigger for $500, $600. I would personally pay that, but I think $350 is a nice, MBS kind of price point, and we have a bunch of minifigures in here. I'm thinking Anakin, Obi-Wan, Padme, Count Dooku, Pog the Lesser, Mace Windu, a couple Geonosians, a couple regular battle droids, a couple supers, a couple droidicas, and at that point, all 3 of the brick-built animals, also the pillars they're on, and then pretty much maybe the half circle of the arena where Count Dooku was up in the middle, and then maybe a couple different side builds of Geonosius, kind of sitting down in the little bleachers, the stands. So this was actually set where about 15 years ago there were prototype designs of them actually making I believe a smaller version. I don't think it was going to be UCS, but there's actual kind of prototype designs out there where LEGO did consider it. But I'm just very surprised over the past 20 years the movie's been out, they've not made any sort of set off of this, big or small. And of course this year was the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones, and they gave us virtually nothing for that. So another missed opportunity there. I don't really know what they're doing. This is definitely one of those where, again, I'm not going to say it's going to sell crazy numbers. Of course, I think grand scheme of things, say the Mos Eisley Cantina will sell more than this. I'm not doubting that, but I think this set will definitely be a nice sell for them, and you'll definitely please at least some of the fans. And so next up here, we have probably the biggest pipe dream of the bunch right here. We have a $20 Phase 2 2007 Battle Pack remake. So basically, guys, basically exactly what it is: 2007 Battle Pack remake with 2 plain Phase 2 clones, 1 Phase 2 Shock Trooper, 1 Phase 2 327th clone, and then an updated speeder and turret design. Really nothing much more to say about that other than the fact I have a bad feeling they're probably going to stray away from ever putting 2 different Legion clones in the same set ever again. I feel like they're really, kind of going towards the point of, putting 212th all in one set, 501st all in one set, the 187th and all, all in one set. So I doubt we'll ever see a battle pack like this, but bottom line of it, just some sort of Phase 2 battle pack is really needed in the next couple of years. Again, whether it's all plain clones, even an accessory pack. I mean, give us a Phase 2 accessory pack, and I'll be even happy. So there's that idea. Probably the most maybe unrealistic of the bunch here. So next up, we actually have another set that they actually prototyped back, 15 years ago when Episode 3 was coming out, being a UTAT here. So I think a $100 UTAT with 6 minifigures being Kiadi Mundi, Commander Bakara, 2 Galactic Marines, and then 2 Super Battle Droids would be perfect right there. Kind of almost like how they do the Republic Fighter Tank. I feel like that's kind of where LEGO is going right now. Jedi, Clone Commander, and a couple of Clone Troopers with a couple of Battle Droids to face off of. And basically at that point, have that same minifigure lineup, and then just, multiply the piece count by, 2 or 3. Give us a UTAT. Charge us $90, $100, and I think all of us would be pretty happy. The only thing kind of sad going against this is the UTAT is really not a vehicle that's ever been shown up in anywhere other than Episode 3. But I do think though, hopefully in LEGO's mind, maybe a couple of those people over there, when they do think to do, eventually maybe a Kiadi Mundi, hopefully a Commander Bakara, hopefully Galactic Marines eventually, I would assume they're smart enough to kind of think like, hey, look, like this is the set to pair them up with. So there's that idea. Then next up, we have another one that might be a little unrealistic, but we have a $140 Clone Wars MTT. So basically what I mean by this is make it a Separatist version, not a Trade Federation version, where it is dark blue and light bluish gray color base. So this one right here, I think we need an MTT remake as is, let alone I feel like a Clone Wars one for the first time ever would be nice. They did make a polybag version of it, so like they are aware it exists. So I think, 12 battle droids, 2 pilot droids, a Phase 1 Commander Gree update possibly, and then a Clone Wars clone, I feel like might be a good little thing to do there, since I believe those MTTs were at the Weapons Factory battle in the Clone Wars, I believe, and that's where Commander Gree was, and of course a couple plain white, Phase 1 clones, Clone Wars clones. So I think that'd be a nice little set right there, $140, maybe make it 1,200 pieces, a bunch of battle droids, maybe a droideka in there, and pretty much call it there, maybe even include Luminara if they really want to, but that'd be a nice little set there. And my personal want, since I've got all 3 of the, the Trade Federation ones, I would personally want a Clone Wars one, and I think, it would warrant LEGO pretty well. Next up, guys, we have a very quick one right here I'm going to go over. I've mentioned this in a few other videos. We have a $20 Dooku versus Yaddle kind of dual set. How they do kind of the Rey versus Kylo. They've done the Anakin versus Obi-Wan. Basically just a nice little $20 one from Tales of the Jedi. It would be a nice excuse to give us a Yaddle minifigure and a Count Dooku minifigure. And basically at that point, that $20 price point would be worth just those 2 minifigures. Give us a little build on the side. You'll call it maybe 150 pieces, $20. Find it on sale for 16, and that'd be a fantastic deal right there. But nothing much more to say about that, but I feel like that'd be a perfect little set, and would sell a lot of them. You know what I mean? I think everyone would go in there just for those 2 minifigures. We would give LEGO the whole amount of money and grab those 2 minifigures for the collection, and there's that idea. So moving on to the second to last idea, this is one where, again, it's not a prequel set. This is actually one of the only original trilogy sets where I really feel like LEGO has kind of dropped the ball on. That being a $35 Darth Vader hallway scene. So, basically just, reminiscent of the Dark Trooper hallway scene. $35, is the marked up price. Being 4 figures, we have 1 Darth Vader, of course, give us the new printed arm one, that'd be ideal. And then we have 3 Rebel Fleet Troopers. So, pretty much at this point, guys, I really do want this set for 2 reasons. I think it's a beautiful concept as is. We have a picture right here from Brick Wizard 59 of what a beautiful idea would be. And I feel like another big reason why I would want a set like this is because, going into 2023 here, army building Rebel Fleet Troopers is virtually impossible. I mean, it's basically never been easy since like 2008. Sure, the older ones are only worth you maybe $4 or $5 a piece, but to quite frankly get newer updated ones in a cheap way, this would basically be that ideal right there. So this, guys, something based off that scene would be ideal, in that picture from Brick Wizard 59 virtually is exactly what I would want, and I would love to display that. Moving on to the last idea right here, which, kind of how they execute it would be a little up in the air, how exactly they want to do it. But my ideal droid battle pack right here, a $30 battle pack, give us 4 regular battle droids, 2 super battle droids, 1 commander droid, 1 pilot droid, and then the builds, instead of just making kind of random stuff in there, the builds would pretty much be classified as a crab droid and also 1 stap. You know, put the pilot droid on the stap. And at that point, you know, it's been hard to kind of army build droids lately. You know, we've been getting a lot of regular droids, you know, sure, but to get super battle droids, a commander droid, we've never had a crab droid before. I feel like, you know, a $30 battle pack, get it on sale for $24, you know, get like literally 7-8 minifigures in there would be very ideal, and to help all of us, you know, build up our droid armies. So as always, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Leave your thoughts down below. I mean, are any of these ideas actually realistic? Do you really think we'll be getting any of these in the next 5 years? I personally do think out of every Lego set they can make right now, these are probably the top 10. Again, I think 8 out of the 10 of these are very, very likely. I don't know why Lego's never made them, let alone now. But I think maybe 1 or 2 of these, sure. Maybe that clone battle pack, you know, change it up a little bit, you know. But again, at the end of the day, though, guys, you know, I feel like Lego Star Wars, for what it is, they've been getting better. You know, a little bit more variety, some cool remakes, a few lackluster remakes, a few things they're kind of dropping the ball on. But like, for what it's worth, maybe in the past year or 2, you know, sure, there's been Clone Wars Season 7, Mandalorian, Kenobi, Book of Boba Fett, a lot of these other shows that are out, where at least in these next, you know, 1 or 2 years until they start dropping new movies, there's only going to be like 1 or 2 shows every year where maybe they'll have time to actually go back and start doing some of this stuff. But yeah, leave your thoughts down below, guys. Leave a comment down below your #1 most wanted set that Lego should make. And all that being said, guys, thank you guys all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for see you guys later. Bye, guys, and stay safe.